months away from the Transformers Bumblebee movie showing up in theaters, but right now we have Transformers Bumblebee movie toys showing up in retail. And so I figured I'd take this opportunity to discuss one of my favorite Transformer characters in all of the Transformers mythos showing up in Bumblebee movie toy line stuff. So, Autobot Hot Rod from the Energon Igniter's Power series has two toys, but this is the first one we're going to discuss here, which is the more deluxe-ish, kind of larger scale one. And so we're going to discuss this, and we're going to talk about a little bit of the history of past Transformers Hot Rod movie toys, if you will. So this is Protoman, this is Proto Retro, and let's do this.
Proto Retro.
Now before we talk about this guy, let's go look at the past when it comes to movie Hot Rod toys. And I have a collection here of just some of them, not all of them, but just the key ones that really reflect certain ideas and designs of that character. Of course, the very first Hot Rod or Rodimus related movie toy was the one that came from the Dark of the Moon 3-pack with Soundwave and Bumblebee. This character wasn't really given much development or even a tech spec profile. He was a pack-in, and as a result, just on a technicality, it ended up becoming a movie toy of that character. Of course, we all know that this is just a very orange repaint of the original Generations / Universe 2.0 Classics-esque Legends Hot Rod. So yeah, and then of course we have all the ones that we pretty much were more familiar with in the last year or so from Age of Extinction, whether it be the deluxe toy being a Lambo, and then of course some of the die-cast stuff of all the different scales. I didn't want to put all of them in there because it would just be all the same thing. And then of course the unique choice of design when it came to more of the smaller scales that were very similar to that of his original G1 with the spoiler and everything, but still having that Lambo design. And of course, yeah, we have the tiny turbo changer, same idea with that. So, but this time around, with the new Bumblebee movie one, we have a look back to the 80s, of course, in relation to what's going on with the continuity of the movie and where everything is going. So we have that very Javelin Mustang kind of look, and of course, for people who have a very sharp eye, they're aware of the fact that in the two waves that are going to be available for the Bumblebee movie toys, this mold is going to be used also for Dropkick and Shatter. Of course, the Dropkick one is going to have the hot rodded engine, which would have been cool to have on this one just for hot rod, but I mean, I understand they want to have diversity among all the different molds so they don't look all just like straight up repaints. And considering that Shatter pretty much and Dropkick are pretty much 100% confirmed for the movie due to what we've seen in trailers and everything, and we don't really know if this boy is in it at all, makes sense just to keep one vanilla in this case. All three of the molds are available right off the bat in retail, so I mean, I'll post some photos here just to show like I have some next to each other in a Walmart that I found, and I haven't picked them up just because, I'm just going to stick with Hot Rod for now, and I'll see how I feel when I want to get the other ones later. Primary reason why I wanted to pretty much stick with just a Hot Rod for now has to do with the fact of two things. Number one, pricing, and number two, quality of pricing. The Transformers Bumblebee Hot Rod, Autobot Hot Rod, is part of in Canada, it's the $14.99 price point and is the $9.99 price point in America, which is pretty much what deluxes were for a while. When you open this thing up, unfortunately, and I remember I was at Action Figure Expo a couple days ago and I was showing this to Vangelis and a few other toy reviewers that were present, and I was like, man, this thing is hollow and light. Now, granted, I understand the hollowness part because of the gimmick that they're trying to play up with too, which I'll get into, but it's really, that's not a deluxe price point toy in this modern age, which is kind of a shame. And it's funny, when you bring this to a toy convention and show it to other people, and while you're at that toy convention, you have deluxes from all the past movie toys and the animated and stuff around you, and you're just comparing them side by side. It's kind of a shame. But that's just the name of the game, and I think also maybe the gimmick has a little bit to do with it, but we'll get into that. So on the back here it talks about, these are the Energon Igniters, and the story with that essentially is that if you pick up one of the larger deluxes, this is like more, the smaller deluxe Energon Igniters if you want to call them that, it comes with the core reactor which is pretty much just, I don't know how to say it, a weaker version of a Minicon and or force chip, which is you would just put it in here, and of course this big engine thing would pop up, and with that big empty space there you put that core Energon igniter, and because this is part of the Speed series, that Energon igniter would be, it would be like a pullback thing so the car could run forward. I didn't obviously bother to pick up 1999 toys that were of low quality and stuff like that, so already this was expensive as it is, but he's my favorite character, so I wanted to. So that's like one of the gimmicks essentially with it, is just you would put that little core Energon igniter. Transformation, I don't even need to do my little montages of transformations, unfortunately, because it's pretty simple. Just bang, bang like this. Also, I would suggest when you're storing him or rolling him around, because this piece sometimes is folded this way, which is for the transformation, I would not suggest doing that because you could damage the limited paint here. So always keep it tucked in like that. So, because otherwise, when you roll, you're going to damage it. So essentially, you move these legs back like so, and then you're already halfway there. And congratulations, you have your robot mode Autobot hot rod. And he looks cool, and he has the 3mm peg point, so he could hold all kinds of weapons and stuff, although the articulation from the shoulders is limited. It's just essentially here, and then here, and that's it. And maybe if you want to count that as a toe articulation, but that's really about it. It's pretty cool. I mean, you could, if you want to have fun, you could say, oh, this is like a jetpack for the back, or if you want to do this, and now he has a big gaping hole in the back, but it doesn't really look that cool like that. And, the jetpack thing is just for fun if you want to have imagination. But yeah, and so let's do a little magic here, and now we're gonna have all the different robot modes of other hot rods throughout the years of the movie stuff. So you got the Legends there, you got this one, and we got the OG. And so it gives you an idea of scale and everything too. And again, this is in a deluxe kind of price point, but it really is kind of its own thing with these Energon igniters and stuff. So is it really recommended? I think that with this Bumblebee movie line, this is something that's really going to be driven if you really like the character or not. Otherwise, and even though non-movie characters, like again, I picked up Hot Rod because I'm a fan of the character, and so I wanted to have more iterations of that. But otherwise, they're very pricey, these figures, and the fact that a lot of them, they sell a gimmick that really you can't utilize unless you buy a larger, more expensive figure, but to get that Energon core kind of thing from the Energon igniter, I would heavily suggest just being cautious on what you want to buy. The quality of the figures are, they're kind of mid-tier now at this point with the modern engineering of Transformer toys. So you're really just better off just kind of playing it safe for now. So pretty much if you really like the character and you're willing to pay a little bit extra for something that you're not normally used to paying at that kind of price point, then I heavily suggest you pick them up, because I love Hot Rod and that's just enough for me really. But otherwise, if you're something that you're more on the fence and you want to wait it out, maybe wait for sales, because movie toys, usually the first couple of waves, there will be sales and stuff like that. But otherwise, I'd wait it out. I kind of understand they wanted to have a gimmick and stuff, but I think it was also a lot of ways to justify the lack of use of plastic and paint, and then sell two products to you in order to justify the lack of paint and plastic. But yep, that's it in a nutshell. So this is Protoman and Proto Retro, and this has been a review of Transformers Bumblebee Energon Igniter. This is in the case of the Speed series Autobot Hot Rod. And until then, guys, take care, and as always, roll out. Like what you saw? Be sure to like and comment on this video. Also, if you're not already, be sure to slam that subscribe button, as well as follow me on Twitter @Protoman and the Transformers Slag podcast with me, Protoman, and Jaws D. We also have Patreon, so be sure if you want to support us, check that out. And as always, thanks again from Protoman of Proto Retro.